Let's start reading the poem The Ant and the Cricket. And it is like a fable, right? And a fable is a story which often fits animals as characters that conveys a moral. All right. And in this poem, it is about an ant and a cricket who contains an idea for far-reaching significance. Okay, so when you will read the poem, at the end you will get a moral, like some human beings are like the cricket and some are like ant. So let's start reading the poem. First of all, the stanza first. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. So in this, the poet in these lines shows how the happy months of summer flew away in no time. With the coming of winter, the cricket realized the time which he has lost, which was meant for work. Okay, so now we are talking about a young cricket. Cricket is kind of an insect. I think everybody knows about it. So there was a young and silly cricket, right? Fool. Okay, so he used to accustomed to sing means he used to spend all his time in singing through the warm sunny months of gay summer and spring. These were the seasons. So the warm summer and spring months, he used to sing the songs in the month of summer and springs, in the season of summer and spring, and not realizing that these months were also meant for work, because with the arrival of winter, right, finding food would become difficult for him. So therefore summer and spring were meant for storing food also, but the cricket spent all the time in vain during the happy months, and now his cupboards were entirely empty and winter was come, because he used to sing in the summer and spring. And yes, he began to complain. Why? Because during the winter, as in summer and spring, he hadn't stored any food. So in the winter the cupboard was empty and he found nothing at his home. Not a crumb to be found on the snow covered ground, not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. So the poet in these lines showcases how the cricket had nothing within the house or outside to sustain himself, as he has wasted the summer and spring months only in singing, not working at all. So the cricket realizes that the ground was covered with snow, okay, and there was not even a crumb, not even a piece of food to be found, nor could he see any flowers or leaves on the tree. There was perpetually nothing to eat within the house or outside the house. Okay, oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me, right? And after watching these things, means he had not found anything like flowers, leaves, because of the snow. Okay, so there was perpetually nothing to eat within the house or outside. So he became desperate, not knowing what to eat and how to survive. What will become of him, right? And he was thinking about himself, means what would happen with him. At last, by starvation and famine made bold, all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set off to a miserly ant, to see if to keep him alive he would grant. So in these lines, the poet depicts how the cricket had to forego his self-esteem and go begging before the ant, right? So at last, by starvation, the cricket was starving due to famine, because there is scarcity of food, right? So he was feeling very hungry. There is no food to eat. There was no food to eat, and due to that, hunger and no resources to sustain himself during the cold months of winter, trembling with cold, right? There was winter season. The winter had taken a toll of his health. Now he became very weak. Then what happened? He also had no shelter to keep him alive. Okay, so he had no shelter. He therefore set out to meet a miserly ant here. next insect. Okay, so he decided to go to meet this ant, and hoping that the ant may help him with something that would keep him alive, to see if to keep him alive he would grant, means he would grant, he means ant, means ant would grant something to him so that he would stay alive. Next, him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain. He wished only to borrow, he would repay it tomorrow. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. So, in these lines, the poet highlights the cricket's need to borrow grain to keep himself alive. There will be a need of borrow. So, the cricket approached him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain. He needed shelter and grain. So the cricket approaches the ant to seek his help for shelter, for home. The rain made it difficult for the cricket to protect himself from the wet surroundings, as it was rain, so he was not able to live in the wet area. So you can see the cricket is there, and he was very desperate, and he needed something, right? So the rains made it difficult for the cricket to protect himself from the wet surroundings, so he also needed some grains or food to combat hunger and starvation. To remove his hunger, he needed some food. He informed the ant that whatever help the would take, he would repay it soon. Means he wished only to borrow. He was not begging, he was just borrowing, because borrow means he would repay the things day after tomorrow or in the future, right? So he would repay it soon, else his end had come, he would die of starvation. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. And he was saying if he will not give something, then obviously he would die with the starvation or hunger. Students, turn the page number 22, next stanza. Sees the ant to the cricket, and your servant and friend. But we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? Caught the cricket not. Okay, so what happened? The poet shares the ant's sense of shock that the cricket didn't save anything for winter during the happy months of summer and spring. So as cricket reached to the ant and asking for the help, then what he replied, the ant replied, the ant feels sorry for the cricket, right? But he tells cricket that the ants never borrow or lend. They never take things from anyone, and they never give things to anyone, right? Perhaps that is the reason that the ants are self-sufficient and need not go begging, right? But tell me, dear, now, but we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. The ant asked the cricket in these lines. The ant asked the cricket if he didn't put aside anything in storage for the winter, then there is nothing much to be found. The cricket answered in the negative, right? Called the cricket not I, right? The ant was quite surprised and shocked, because as they were very hard workers, ants are very hard workers, so they have stored the food, but he had not. So ants were very surprised to listen that he had not stored anything. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay. You sang, sir, you say. Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away. Okay, so what happened? The poet shows how the cricket gets mocked by the ant because of his stupidity. Okay, so the cricket tells the ant that he was so happy during the happy months. My heart was so light, and that I sing day and night, means he was very happy. Light here means happy. He was very happy, so he used to sing and dance all the day and night. He used to sing only. So during the happy months of summer, that he sang day and night. He was so happy and the nature looked so pleasant. Gay means pleasant, that he should spend the winter, that he forgot all about the winter or the difficult time. He was very happy and everything was very pleasant, so he forgot about everything. So hearing this, the ant told him here that now he should spend the winter singing and dancing too. The ant tells the cricket that there is no point crying over spilt milk. Spilt milk means if the time had gone and you have not spared anything, then there is no need to be cried, because it was your fault only. Okay, so it is a proverb, over crying over spilt milk. So the ant tells the cricket that there is no point crying over spilt milk. Last one. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket, and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Folks call this a fable. I will warrant it true. Some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. Adapted from Aesop's Fables. So, in the final lines of the poem, these are the final lines. The poet shares the moral or lesson with his readers, right? So, which is what is the moral? After reading, you will get that the ant gets irritated and asks the cricket to leave, right? So these those who do not wish to help themselves cannot be saved by others. The poet in the final couple of the poem tells that the reader that through this tale is believed to be fable. Okay, and it is no less than truth. Poet calls this truth because what is true for the legged cricket is also true for the 2-legged humans. Means what happened? See, thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket. He just ant told him to left the place, and he just turned the door, and he was feeling very bad, and this poor little cricket, and he was not feeling good. So now in these lines, the poet wanted to say that it is just like a fable, and yes, after fable we get the moral, and it is also a truth of the life. What? That some crickets have 4 legs like this, at 4 legs, and some have 2. And who has 2 legs? Human being. So here he is comparing the human beings to cricket, because some human beings are like very lazy and they do not store anything for the future, and they just always busy in wasting their time. So he had compared the human beings with this kind of cricket. 4 legs cricket means this cricket, and 2-legged cricket means human beings. And I hope you all have understood the poem.